Inhale the smoke, let it rise to the sky. Flowing high, feeling so alive. Roll it up tight, spark it up bright. Leave your worries behind, take flight. Riding on clouds, feeling so free. Lost in the haze, just you and me. Smoke in the air, we're in our zone. Living in the moment, never alone. Passing around in a circle we go. Sharing stories, letting our minds flow. Time slows down in a tranquil state. Every puff bringing a new escape. We're riding on clouds, feeling so free. Lost in the haze.
On the tray instead of on the
Oh, you're good.
tablecloth.
You're good. It gets rolled off at the end. Yeah, with the cats throughout the week, they just run across the table, and plus then you got me smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, and the table becomes a mess by Friday the next week. So I'm like, lint roller, that'll do the job.
Yeah, it's a lot
Just
easier than
clear the whole table off and we'll lint roll it. Is it not working? Uh-oh. Now it should be working. Yep.
Go ahead and give him another test.
I don't need to. I can hear the grow room.
Okay.
1 2 1 2. I'm just tagging people. Why not? There we go.
1 2 1 2. Test test test.
No, wrong, Kristen.
I don't need to. I can hear the grow room. There we go. All right.
There we go.
We haven't had mic problems in a while.
You know,
You want to know?
I bring all the problems.
That's funny. Was it last weekend that I brought that up? Last weekend I brought up that Joe Rogan had technical difficulties on one of his episodes recently. And I mean, a lot of the stuff I do on here, I take inspiration from his show because it's the #1 podcast in the entire world.
Yeah.
So any advice he can give, I always take it. So when I hear him have technical difficulties, even after 2,000 episodes, I'm always just like, ugh.
You're like, it's not just me.
Yeah, it's not just the new guys that have technical difficulties.
No.
What's up, guys? All right, so we have Danielle Muggli here. As she was explaining, she's lived in Montana her entire life. Started out in Miles City, moved to Helena.
There we go.
Started consuming cannabis when she was 16. What led you into advocating for cannabis?
Ooh, that's a fun one. So back in 2010, I worked for a company called Montana Cannabis. We had a grow operation right outside of Helena in what used to be the Montana State Nursery. So it was like right off the highway.
Right.
It was big buzz. Nobody liked that in the capital city. I want to say it might have been March 10th or 11th, and I might have the day wrong. The federal government came in and raided, I want to say, 36 businesses simultaneously. At the exact same time, they were voting to repeal the medical marijuana law. I watched that. I didn't physically watch it. I watched it later. Actually, there's a documentary about it. But that place got completely destroyed by the federal government. All of the lights were cut. Everything was done. They made one of my friends named Dan. He had a major stroke, made him get on the ground.
I totally feel like I know what documentary you're talking about.
Right
after you
Code of
said-
the West.
Wait, what?
Code of the West.
Ooh, maybe not then.
Yeah.
I just remember seeing something about like the feds coming in and just cutting lights.
Yep. That might have been. It might have been even the same one. It was crazy, and during that, this gentleman, his name is Richard Floor. He was one of the first caregivers in Montana. He was one of my best friends in Miles City's caregiver when she had childhood leukemia. He was part of the Montana Cannabis Company, and when they got raided, he got locked up, and while he was in lockup, he died from severe medical neglect. Yeah. And watching the system work the way that you were, like, you didn't think was possible is kind of what made me want to start advocating. I saw how unfair it was. Essentially, our state law allowed Montana Cannabis to operate, but according to federal law, the laws were not clear enough to stay
Right.
in compliance, and that's what spurred them to come in and raid Montana and try to shut it down.
Right, and
Yeah.
I feel like they had always set that up just so that they could come in and raid them.
Yep.
Because they had done that in a lot of states.
They did. It was during the Ogden memo. You had
Yeah.
to be in clear and unambiguous compliance with state law, and it didn't matter if state law was clear or not.
Right.
So they just kind of.
Do you wanna try
did what
some
they
of this?
want. Sure, I might as well. Just a little. But after watching that, ooh, that's nice.
Right.
That's what got me started. And I went and I attended all of their court trials and their sentencing and all of that kind of stuff. And it really opened my eyes to the way that the system works and how draconian these laws are and how they're not fair and they're not caught up with how everything is working now in the modern world.
Right. Yeah, they
So.
definitely could use some catching up, especially since everybody, like,
Yeah,
good
everybody's
75%
making money.
of the population smokes, and good 50% of the population makes some kind of money off of some sort of business involved in cannabis.
Well, and the federal government, every paycheck that every dispensary gives out, the federal government gets a cut of that.
Right.
Plus, they get the profit taxes. Plus, they get part of the sales. You know what I'm saying? So they're profiting off of the cannabis
Right.
business while still.
But they still want to leave it federally
You-
a Schedule 1 narcotic.
And they still want to keep people locked up because they also make money on that side of things.
Right, right.
So, yep.
So then where exactly did you hear about Freedom Grow?
Okay, so back during the trials for Montana cannabis, this woman named, a whole bunch of people came together. It was like Carrie Boyder, Kristen Floor, Stephanie Landa, Stacy Tice, just a whole ton of people got on this giant weed bus and started in California and drove it all the way to Montana to be present at Chris Williams' sentencing.
Savage.
Yes, and from that, that's kind of where all of those people met, and slowly it evolved from then volunteering at the hemp fests and everything. It got fully incorporated as an actual official foundation in 2015.
Oh, okay.
But it existed in many forms prior to that.
Oh, damn. So they're coming up on 10 years now.
Yep. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's always nice when an organization or company hits that 10-year mark. Mm-hmm. I feel like it's a really big milestone and like pushes the envelope a little further for them.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. It's exciting. It's really come into its own in the last few years. The program's just gotten bigger.
Yeah.
So
I feel like after the 5-year mark is when people really start to like take an interest and look at it. Mm-hmm. At first, the first 5 years are like close friends, family, and anybody.
A couple of small groups that
Yep.
you like occasionally show up with the table and talk about it.
Right.
Yeah.
The people that you can get roped in. After that first 5 years, though, I always feel like the organization kind of gets a little more spotlighted. Mm-hmm. And even people that don't know anybody that's in the organization manage to find the organization somehow.
Yep.
And then it's after that 10-year, it's just like, just a steady influx of people
Yeah.
coming in.
Yeah, and people's attitudes towards cannabis incarceration has changed.
Definitely.
When I first started out, people would come by, they would laugh. They would say things like, well, they broke the law, they deserve to be there, without realizing that all of those people are the reason why they had access to cannabis
Yep.
prior to legalization. If it wasn't for those people, we wouldn't have what we have now.
Right.
So,
Some people had to make a sacrifice so that we could have the privileges we have now.
exactly. Yeah, so we can be on this podcast doing exactly what we're doing.
Right, I always think about that. Like 10 years ago, I would not have been allowed to do this. My door would have been kicked in.
Yeah, I wouldn't have done it. I'd been like in a mask and been fully like on YouTube with like a voice change,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, my name's this.
Yeah.
My name's Bob.
I'm not from
I'm
Montana.
from Texas.
Exactly. So,
Yeah, it's crazy how far along the cannabis reform has come.
yes. Yeah. There's all sorts of stuff.
And now it's looking like President-elect is setting up his chambers to be like really pro-cannabis.
You know, if there's one thing that he can do, I hope it's that. I may not always agree with every policy. I'll be upfront about that, but I can say
I feel like if somebody agrees with
like-
every policy that a president puts out, they aren't paying attention.
yes.
They're
and-
just being a sheep in the herd.
Yeah, exactly. What he did do in his last term, though, is he released a lot of the people we used to have on our list, including like Craig Cecil, and I want to say possibly Luke Scarmazzo,
And that's
a
why it
few
drives
more.
me insane that people said he did nothing good in his first term. And it's like,
He did release a lot of cannabis
I mean,
prisoners
I
that were serving
guess,
life.
but he had a lot going on, but he did actually do pretty decent. Like, I mean, to release all those prisoners, that's A+ on my side.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I can get behind that. You know what? If you can do something,
My brother
do
was
that
trying to
for
tell
us.
me who to vote for, and I was like, hey, dude, I vote for whoever supports cannabis the most. And he's all, there's bigger issues than that. And I'm like, yo, the world can handle those bigger issues.
Yeah.
My big issue is cannabis.
Yeah, I can control that where I'm at. I can't control a lot of things. I'm not going to go out and
Exactly.
fight the war as much as I would love to. I support those who do things like
Right.
that, but I can't. I can't.
I'm going to fight the war I want to fight, and that's the cannabis fight.
Exactly. So,
Once that fight's over, then maybe I'll go find a new fight to fight. Mm-hmm. But maybe I'll be too stoned.
yeah.
But at that point, maybe the whole world will be too stoned to fight.
Oh, God, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Oh, I know, right?
I would be down with that. So, but,
Okay, so Freedom Grow,
Yeah.
what is their overall achievement? I know that
Like they're,
Are they like the Last Prisoner Project, or are they completely different?
So I would say there's kind of like a Venn diagram of what the Last Prisoner Project does and what Freedom Grow does. There's some
Right.
stuff that overlaps, but what differentiates us from them would be we're out on the front lines, usually out there gathering signatures, sending letters to our presidents, to other state officials, requesting the release of prisoners directly. Let's see.
Okay, so you guys do pension for the release of prisoners. When I was looking at the website, I wasn't really seeing anything about that. I was just seeing more of like
Yeah.
using the funds to donate stuff to help educate, help make them comfortable while they're in there until they can get out.
Yes, exactly. And beyond that, but for the signature gathering, everything, those are usually done at any of the festivals that we go to, like the one I did recently in Florida.
Right.
I've done it at like the Billings Expo. I've gathered signatures before, and they're just basically asking President Biden, who made the promise to release these cannabis prisoners more broadly than what he already has.
Right.
Because there's nobody in there for minor pot charges in federal prison. What he said was not correct. Anyway, we're just requesting to release them. And we do believe that those letters do make a difference. This last time I got about a stack about this thick of letters requesting that a whole myriad of people get released.
Damn.
Yeah, thousands. It's pretty cool. But as far as the program you were talking about for donations and things, let me slow down a little bit so I'm not rapid talking. I can't help it.
Yeah, we got plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm super passionate about it, so I could talk for a long time. Essentially, there is about 40,000 plus people serving time for cannabis offenses right now.
Wait, one more time?
40,000?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That
And
was
that's
way
just
more than I thought. I was thinking more like closer to like the 10,000 area.
Yeah. No, there's tons. On our list right now, we have probably over 250, and each one of those prisoners gets some sort of commissary donation. We also make sure that their kids get gift cards during Christmas, that they get some school supplies at the beginning of the year. And let's say it's something special like an anniversary, or they need some medicine or something like that. We'll go case to case and help them out as best as we can.
That's really cool.
Yes. Last year was pretty amazing. We had a lot of people donate during Christmas, and different companies and stuff too. So
That's really cool. I know that definitely goes a long ways when you're in there and you get that extra funds put on your commissary.
Yeah.
That can definitely go a long ways.
yeah, they make an average, if you work 40 hours at about 14 cents an hour, you're making about $5.60 per week when you're
Right.
in prison. They don't get paid a lot. And that has to cover commissary hygiene products, especially if you're a female, if you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And food and comfortable shoes. And some of them are there for life.
Yeah.
They don't always have support on the outside from family members. They drop off, they die, they move on, sadly.
Yep.
So we're trying to kind of bridge that gap and also allow them to communicate with their family, because they have to pay for every email and phone call
Yep.
that they get. And if their families need to, drive to visit them and things like that. It's just not cheap to be in prison.
No.
No.
No, it's not.
It is not cheap to live there, despite what people say, 3 squares and a cot. I get that, but oh my God, you're not going to want to eat that.
Right. That's some trash food. That's why people
Yeah.
are always begging for commissary, so then they get the good food and make some better shit.
And I'd be able to have some more healthy options.
Right.
I've heard tales of things being like not for human consumption on the boxes of their slop that they just throw into a big steamer, and that's what you get.
Yeah.
So it's, like I said, I've been doing this for a minute. I could tell you some stories.
And I mean, I'd say that's the life you choose, but I mean, when it comes to
Cannabis,
that
yeah.
that wasn't the life you chose. Yeah, you chose to sell it and stuff, but it shouldn't even have been a Schedule 1 narcotic to begin with.
Nope. And especially now, we should be looking at this a little bit closer than what we are.
Right.
We shouldn't be incarcerating a bunch of people and aging them out.
And I mean, I said sell. There's a lot of people that are sitting in jail for just petty charges, like carrying a joint.
Yeah. If you
Something
have over,
I do on a daily basis, walk around with a joint in my ear, like I don't even think twice about it.
Yeah, exactly. And imagine if you are on the what is that, the 3 strikes?
Yeah.
And you get caught with that, life in prison, baby, and you
Right.
just had a joint on you. It's not fair.
If it was 20 years ago, I'd probably be serving a life sentence for having a joint in my ear.
That's not a joke. But yeah, it's crazy. I can't, it's funny how far it's come. So, trying to think. You got any cool?
Let's talk about that festival you just went to.
Okay.
So when you're at festivals, what exactly are you doing as a volunteer?
So what I do as a volunteer is we get the table all set up. We get all of our media out, and I kind of learn a couple of quick lines about some of the people that we're representing. Some of them I've known because I've known them for a long time.
Right.
Other ones I have to kind of learn a little bit. And then I would just approach you and say, hey, would you like to help get people out of prison for pot charges? I don't think anybody should go to jail for a plant. Do you? And most of the time you'd be like, oh, no, what can I do?
Right.
And then I would come up and I would show you the different letters you can sign. Sometimes we'll have it for individuals, but we always have one that goes to the president with a list of everybody we have. And then we just kind of discuss that with you. If you want to donate your time or money, you can do that. We also have raffles. But essentially, we just educate people and remind them that there's still a lot of folks locked up for cannabis, even though it's legal and they're selling it like it's beer.
Right.
So.
I mean, it should have always been sold like beer, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah, exactly.
Beer should be the narcotic. That's the one
Right?
killing people.
Oh, shit, I know.
So now, how many people will usually volunteer with you when you're at one of these events?
This last time we had 3 people working the booth, and then we had a couple of people that came in and helped us set up and tear down. Usually we want to have between 4 and 8, just to make sure, depending on the size of the festival, so that way
Right.
we can have breaks, go take a look around.
Right,
Or
right.
if we have a lot of people, we can just, because people don't want to spend a lot of time. They just
Right.
want to donate their signature or what they can and move on and go look at all the other stuff. I get it. It's overstimulating.
Yeah.
But anything we can do to just bring a tiny bit of attention. So I'll hand out flyers. I'll make you sign things. I'll talk about it. I'll ring a big bell every time you donate something.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Get a gong.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's.
Just got to get a really big gong and then tell everybody that they get to hit the gong when they sign the paper.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
And then you'll have a line all the way out the event.
Right?
And what are you guys waiting on? Well, we got told we got to hit this ginormous gong. Oh, well, I'm getting in line for that.
Right? Oh my God. That would be great. But it's, I don't know, it's a lot of fun. I've done a lot of these. It's a lot of hard work, though. You are there from the morning until the night, and you are constantly on just hammering home the same message
Right.
over and over
when it's
again.
something like that, I'm betting you just go 100 miles per hour the entire day.
Yep. But I enjoy it, so I can't help it.
Right.
I do get to smoke, so that, we don't have to really be too, quiet about that, because everybody there does. And what's nice is, so anybody who has volunteered thus far has been affected by cannabis incarceration, whether it's been a family member or themselves directly. Me indirectly with everybody with Montana Cannabis and Richard and everybody. And then, for example, I volunteered with this woman named Sherry. She spent time in prison for cannabis, and her husband is now spending 40 years in Maryland in the state prison for selling cannabis, where it's legal, both recreationally and medically. So it's like a de facto life sentence for this man at this point.
Right.
So we gathered some signatures and stuff for him. I also volunteered with a gentleman named Randy Lanier. I don't know if anybody's ever heard about him. He was a race car driver in the late 80s and the early 90s, and he smuggled cannabis to help pay for the racing career. There's actually a Netflix special.
Did you know originally that's how NASCAR got started?
Oh, wow. No, I did not.
Originally, it was bootlegging.
Oh, that makes sense. Yep.
They would soup up their cars to get away with bootlegging the
Prohibition.
moonshine across state lines and stuff, and that turned into NASCAR.
Yeah, humans will always find a way.
Which explains why NASCAR is a drunk sport.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, huh. They do enjoy that beer there.
Well, and then you're just sitting there super drunk.
You're like, I get it. Oh,
Me
that's
being
funny.
stoned, I'm just like, okay, he took a left.
You're like, he's
Took
taking a
another
lot of lefts, man.
Took another left. Yeah, okay. I was bored like 5 laps ago. I'm going home.
All right, I'm gonna go smoke a bowl. I'll be back. Oh my God.
So if someone is incarcerated under cannabis charges, how would they go about getting a hold of Freedom Grow to advocate for them?
So we do vet everybody. We make sure that they are non-violent cannabis crimes. Just to get that out of the way.
Right.
If we do find out that somebody on our list has had a violent offense, we will, discuss and remove them accordingly. But if they wanted to get a hold of us, one of their family members can reach out to the Freedom Grow website. It is freedomgrow.org, spelled out just like that. Yep, there we go. And just reach out to us. Go to the contact us. I'm not sure exactly what, but you can just leave us a message and we'll add you to the list or contact you. I can guarantee. I'm actually in charge. My role in the whole program is to update the prisoner list to make sure that everybody's address is correct and if they've been removed or put into like a halfway house or something, or has been released from the prison system. Yeah, it's in that way. Because we send them, like I said, we send them commissary, we send them monthly newsletters, update them, cards, things like that, just to kind of make them feel
So, I mean,
included
you have
in
a
the
pretty
outside.
decently big role in the
Yeah,
organization with that.
yeah, and I've done it before. I used to do it for something called the Human Solution. When that group disbanded, I, kind of went my own way for a little while and then decided to come back to this. So it's just my natural role. I've done it for a long time.
Right.
Yeah, it's tedious, but it's not hard. It's time consuming.
Right. So when it comes to vetting them on violent crimes, what's considered a violent cannabis crime?
I would just assume anything like if they have like a PMFA, if they assaulted somebody, if they used a weapon. Gun possession, I can't really speak too much on, mainly because we live in the United States, right?
Right.
So it is not inherently illegal to own a firearm. You should not have firearms and cannabis together, but people hunt. People
Did you
fish. People
hear about the federal court ruling against a judge on that?
Wasn't it? It was Arizona.
I can't remember where, but they ruled it was unconstitutional for them to say that they're not allowed to consume cannabis and own a firearm.
That they are or are not.
That they are not allowed to say that.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. That's what I thought you said. Yeah, and that's essentially what I'm trying to go through is that just because you happen to have a gun charge does not inherently make you violent. There's a lot of things that go on around that.
Right.
Montana
Because they could have
cannabis.
shown up at your house and you had a gun right there. Well,
Montana
that's gun
cannabis,
and a narcotic. So that's a
Perfect
gun charge.
example. Richard Floor was a gentleman who liked to collect firearms. He had a bunch from his grandparents, a bunch of heirlooms. And this is common knowledge. You can Google it. That's the reason why I'm sharing it right now. They would have been charged with, I think, like 80-some firearms. That's a 5-year mandatory minimum for each firearm. So de facto life. Right. But he wasn't somebody brandishing his weapons. He wasn't out there using them and intimidatingly. He just liked to collect antiques, right? And family heirlooms. Yeah. So.
Did it say what state? Oh, federal judge in Oklahoma has concluded, citing last year's U.S. Supreme Court ruling that significantly expanded gun rights. Because a man was charged in August with violating that ban, saying it infringed his rights to bear arms under the U.S. Constitution's Second Amendment. And it does.
Yeah, 100%. If you can drink a beer and shoot a gun, why can't you
I
possess?
never thought about it that way, but...
Yeah. I would rather have a cannabis user handling a weapon than a drunk person.
And in
any
all
day.
honesty, when they wrote that rule, they were smoking weed. Writing it on hemp paper.
Yep.
So, it just makes logical sense that it would be unconstitutional for you to say that.
Exactly. That's a good point. I like that. That's crazy.
I mean, George Washington grew hemp behind the White House.
Oh, wow. See, I didn't know that.
At least I'm pretty sure that was true and not a false fact. Oh, hey, and that's yours, so don't forget that.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that I won the raffle last week. Here you go. I know my husband's off work for somewhere close to now, so I'm going to shoot him a thing. Oh, thank you. I'm excited. Thanks, I'm short. It's hard to reach. There we go. Oh, sweet. I got like a shirt and a cup. I'm excited about this cup bong. That thing is pretty
Yeah,
sweet.
those things are dope.
Yeah. Thank you. And it was Mama Homemade It?
Yep.
Is that it? Yeah, thank you, Mama Homemade It. I like that. I don't know what it is.
It's a
Scent.
scenty
Okay.
for your car
Cool.
or wherever you want to put it.
Yeah.
I believe those ones come scented. It's these ones right here so you can buy these off our website, and they're just.
Oh, you can add your own.
Yeah, you can put whatever you want on it, and then you just take essential oils and put it around the sides right here, and it'll soak in, and it's a car freshener.
That's nice because I am like, everybody who knows me knows that I am super sensitive to smells. And so something that you could add your own, like lemon oil doesn't bother me, but something with like a verbena does.
Ooh.
So, you know what I mean? It would be nice to be able to choose my own.
That makes me nervous. Did the lavender bother you when you came in?
COVID, it'll be fine. I took it. I say that now as I'm coughing. It's from this. Now that you mention it.
Because I always burn some lavender incense before everybody shows up.
Yeah, as long as it's not actively burning right now. And if it is, then
I don't think so.
yeah.
Nope.
But that's fine.
So,
Anyway, yes.
what other organizations do you volunteer for?
Ooh, I have, like I said, I volunteered from Freedom Grow, which was a different prisoner thing. We got to do the High Times Denver Cup in 2015. High Times donated us a booth.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, it was a good time. We had games going. We talked a lot about jury nullification. I've done it just on my own at different like concerts and events. And then let's see what else. Oh, the Cup Fest and the Hemp Fest here in Montana. I've definitely done a lot of that. It's not necessarily for the prisoner organization, but just volunteering to
Right.
keep cannabis events going in Montana. And then when I was working with the Human Solution and then the Freedom Grow, we would get a booth at the Hemp Fest in Seattle. And that's where we did a lot of our advocating throughout the years.
Right. And, okay, so and what is Human Solution?
The Human Solution was
Okay,
the same
Human Solution.
thing. Nobody should go to jail for a plant. It was run by a gentleman named Joe Grumbine. He's now doing his own thing. And so I just kind of went this Freedom Grow instead of that way because
Right.
I enjoy all the ladies that are in there with me. No offense to Joe. I like Joe too. But Kristen Floor, who was Richard Floor's daughter, is
Right.
who I have the direct connection with. And so that's kind
Okay.
of why I chose to go that way.
Makes
But-
sense.
Yeah, but I support whoever wants, to do their own thing. We've done court support, letter gathering, all sorts
Right.
of
Anybody that advocates for cannabis got the support from me. I know that.
especially when it comes for me to the prisoners, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So we've, done all sorts of things.
So what are your thoughts on them rescheduling it to a Schedule 3 versus not decriminalizing it, but unscheduling it?
Okay.
Descheduling.
So I don't know a lot about it, so if I'm wrong, everybody please don't murder me in the comments, all right? Because I don't always I don't want to look it up right now. But my understanding is if you deschedule it, then it makes it not necessarily as big of a crime. But if you put it on a Schedule 3, it allows medical research. And that would allow like federal funding to be able to actually research the medical benefits of cannabis, and people could get
Right.
grants a lot easier that way. However, descheduling it would probably get people out of jail faster and take away a lot more
Yeah.
of the criminal penalties.
I mean, I've read up on it, and I'm just a dumb stoner, so I don't know too much about anything.
Yeah.
But
And I'm wearing a shirt right now that says, of course, deschedule cannabis. So,
But I feel like if they deschedule it, you can still get all the funding. It scares me for them to reschedule it to a Schedule 3 because they're admitting to it having medical benefits.
which then puts it in the arms of the pharmaceutical companies.
In the pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah.
And at that point of them saying that it has medical benefits, what stops them from saying you have to have a pharmaceutical license to sell it?
Exactly. That is something that a lot of people have not actually
And
taken the
if
time
you have
to
a
realize.
felony, you can open a dispensary, I believe. But if you have a felony, you cannot have a pharmaceutical license.
Yeah, I'm not, it's been a long time since I've looked at that because I know that there used to be a law in Montana with drug felonies about working in the industry. And I have not updated myself on that. And
So from what I know on the felonies in the industry at the moment is, as long as it's not a drug-related felony
yeah,
or
you can have your record expunged also. I've known people to do that and carry
really?
cannabis licenses. Yep. Yep. But it costs tens of thousands of dollars to do that, and it's a very lengthy
that
process.
Be worth it.
It depending on if you've got the capital to back it, like 100%, 100%.
You just gotta find an investor to back you on it.
Yep. But if they do any kind of descheduling or rescheduling, I think that might open up banking at some point in time too.
I think if they reschedule it, then that opens it up to banking.
Yeah.
If they make it a Schedule 3, but even if they deschedule it, it'd still open it up.
So, yeah, so that one's a hard one for me because
Definitely.
I can see the benefits for both, but I just 100% on the prisoner side, let's get them out, deschedule it. So it's just less of a criminal penalty and it leaves it open to
Okay, see, no, that's wrong because I've talked to multiple people that have said you can have a felony.
Yeah, when was that one updated? Oh, 2023. Okay. Did I load this?
It's you can't. Fuck. Well, I'll have to ask Dallas if he's here in the morning. I'm pretty sure it was the only thing you can't do is work in a lab if you have a felony.
Yeah. But either way, they need to remove that rule. It's a stupid rule. Yeah.
They got a lot of rules for felons that are some pretty stupid rules.
Yeah, I've known a lot of felons. Not all of them are bad guys. You know what I mean? Or bad.
Oh, there's something we could talk about. The 2024 holiday drive.
Yes.
Good call on that one.
Yep. I'm ready to talk about all those things. I have lists here. I just don't want to over.
Oh, I didn't see that they shared it out on this one too. I seen them share it on Facebook, but not on Instagram. That's cool.
Yeah, they're great people. Kristen Floor, I think, is in charge of a lot of our social media, and she's a great person. I really enjoy her. So the 2024 holiday drive, we've done this before. Essentially what we do is we reach out to different dispensaries and individuals who want to donate, and those donations go directly to the prisoners' children themselves and their families.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So we put money on their books. We make sure that they have magazines, cards, things like that. And then we also make sure that their kids get a gift card every year. We've done individual gifts in the past, but it gets really muddy.
Yeah, it's really hard to pick for somebody
when
you
you're
don't
going
know.
for tens, if not hundreds of children. I'm not sure how many are on our list, and I can't disclose certain
Right.
information. But it just gets really hard to get one person this and that, and so we've just.
And you can't always just base it off, well, she's a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah.
Okay, well, is she a 10-year-old tomboy girl or is she a 10-year-old princess girl?
Exactly. So, and just making sure that they just have some of the things that they're taking care of to brighten their holidays. We
Elizabeth said she thinks that's correct about the lab, and Greg says, greetings.
Hi, Greg. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm in Billings. Hello. Oh, that's funny. I didn't even have to read that. That's basically everything right there. Emails, medicine, toiletries. sometimes also, like I said, thoughtful gifts. Like if you
Right.
want to buy your wife like a dozen roses, or you want to get your mom a box of chocolates for, Mother's Day.
Oh, see, that's really awesome.
Yeah, we want to make sure that they feel connected to their family. It's about the community as a whole. Not just the prisoners get affected by incarceration, but their entire families.
Yeah.
And that ripples out. That ripples out to their schools, that ripples out to the children. So they need support.
Right.
We've even, as far as I've been known to help people even when they're out. Make sure they have a little bit of pocket money so they can get some of the supplies that they need.
Right.
It's not like they're coming out with money.
Yeah.
Most of these people, they've been in there for years, and they're in halfway houses or going back to a home that's
And then they got to integrate back into society and figure out
how to live life again.
how to live life without 3 squares in a cot.
Exactly. It's crazy. I've known a few people to spend years in like solitary confinement while they've been locked up. One of my favorite quotes was George Monterano was talking about how he stopped counting the months and he just started counting the Christmases.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Yep. And it's 23 hours a day locked up. Sometimes you get like an hour outside, and I could be wrong on that. But
I think legally it's 23 hours a day, and they're required to give you an hour
of like yard
of
time.
yard time, of rec time. Mm-hmm. Unless you're like
Dangerous.
dangerous or suicidal dangerous.
Yeah.
And then it's 24/7 lockdown.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see here. What else can I talk about a little bit? Ooh, may I talk about the Commissary Connect?
Yep.
Okay, so Commissary Connect, it's a way for dispensaries and things to kind of get involved if they would like to. Essentially, I'll kind of go through it. I do believe I got a link. I'm going to have to clear it with Kristen to make sure it's the correct link. But what you would do if you were a dispensary and you wanted to get involved, you could donate directly, or you could do the Commissary Connect, which would essentially allow you to choose a product that we would feature our logo on it. A portion of the sales of that product would go directly to the prisoners.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And it would also advertise for us, and it would allow customers to be able to directly connect and see where their donation is going and support prisoners directly.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It can, let's see here. It just basically empowers customers to support prisoners and give them a little bit of hope, and it allows dispensaries to also feel involved.
Right.
And allow them to also advertise like these particular products are used for this, which draws people in.
Right.
A lot of people cannot tell me that they do not agree. Nobody should go to jail for a plant.
Right.
So,
But
yeah.
that's really cool.
Yep. It's ran, if I may, by that gentleman, Randy
Definitely.
Lanier. He's one of the people that would reach out. He's the gentleman I was talking about earlier, who used to be a race car
And that's
driver.
called Commissary Connect.
Yep, Commissary Connect. So I'm not sure if it's up on the website yet, but we're gonna take a peek here. So, all right. Oh, one other thing I kind of wanted to bring up. I'm gonna have to pull it up on my phone and log out of there really quick here.
Yep, you're good. Oh, so we got this right here.
Ah, there we go.
So you could donate on PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, or Zelle. Freedom grows an all-volunteer effort to help cannabis prisoners regain freedom while we support their sacrifices with commissary money, prison outreach, and public education.
Yep.
Ooh, you could even donate crypto.
Oh, nice.
Fancy.
Nice. So, yeah, and you can just contact us and reach out and just ask about Commissary Connect, and I'm sure it'll be on the page soon.
Right.
We are going to be, let me see. So we will be having a new website coming soon. It's going to be donated to us by Cannasite, and they are essentially a cannabis website company. What's kind of cool is the way that they donate, or that we were able to connect with them, is through a drag racing car. Freedom Grow, Randy Lanier had a former partner donate a whole bunch of advertising space on one of their drag racing cars for, I do believe, 4 races. And so a bunch of cannabis companies got to advertise on this car, and all those proceeds got to go towards helping the prisoners.
Okay, real quick.
Yes.
Did you hear about the NASCAR car just recently that didn't have any sponsors?
Huh.
They went Talladega Nights.
Oh, nice.
They put a stuffed cougar in the back of the car and then put the entire design from the race on the car.
Oh my God! If you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby Inc.
And they would mic up the pit crew, and you could hear them literally scripting the movie. It was hilarious.
Oh my God!
But so you guys are going to be having a new website coming?
Yes, new website coming. Thank you to Canasite. Woo, go team. But we traded a website for space on the hood, so they got the entire hood of the car.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, in order to donate, and then now they're going to build us a whole new website, which is pretty cool. So I'm excited about seeing that. You know, we need something a little more elevated.
See, this is what I like about this, is because I find these fancy new websites, like these fancy businesses such as Canasite, that who would have thought that you could make a business out of building websites for cannabis businesses?
Yep. I always said it's the people selling the shovels in this gold rush. They're going to get rich.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not just the people digging for that gold.
Right. Everybody's always trying to open the next dispensary, and it's like, yo, guys,
Yeah. Do you need packaging? What's going on?
there's other businesses in the industry that people don't think about. Mm-hmm. Like, everybody always asks me, oh, are you going to go work at a dispensary? Are you going to work at a dispensary? Like, bro, I've been podcasting for cannabis for 3 years. I don't want to step foot behind the counter of a dispensary.
You're like, I get it. It's a lot of hard work, and people don't realize that. You have to be on all day. I respect anybody who is able to. I've done it before, myself personally.
Been a bud tender?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I've never worked in a dispensary. 10 years ago, me and a couple of buddies had talked about opening a dispensary because we were growing. All that fell through, and we stopped growing, and then I started doing cannabis podcasts 3 years ago, and I mean, I've never wanted to work in a dispensary since.
It's a lot. It's a lot of hard work.
Yeah, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to do cannabis podcasting if I did, because everybody would always be like, well, you're just being biased because you work at this place.
You're like, no. Nope, that is not the case.
Yep. Nope, I don't work at any places, and I ain't biased towards anybody.
You're
You
like-
give me shit product, I'll tell you, you got shit product.
I do agree, and there's plenty of that around. There's good stuff too out there. You just gotta look.
Yeah.
So,
I don't like reviewing people's weed online anymore, though.
no, it can be soul crushing sometimes.
Yeah, seriously, like, everybody puts their hard work into growing weed or making dab, and then just to have somebody who thinks they know what they're talking about tell them it's shit.
I mean, I have been guilty of saying that myself once or twice, but
Oh, yeah, I'll tell
yeah.
somebody their shit's shit, but
yeah,
when you tell it to, like, millions of people,
that's not fun.
yeah, that's
No.
like, damn, bro, now is anybody going to shop here?
Yeah. Well, and to be fair, I'm going to do a little shout out to to the different shops and things. The way that the program is set up, it does not allow for necessarily easy or good keeping of cannabis products. When you have to put them in an individual sale Mylar bag, they're going to lose quality.
Right.
When you have to spend forever waiting for the test results, and then you have to get everything labeled and then delivered to the store, sometimes
Right.
it's weeks to months out, and that loses a lot of the quality.
Yeah.
So when it comes to purchasing in a dispensary, sometimes I feel like it's not necessarily that the product is bad. It's just that it had to go through a lot to get there.
Right.
And if they allowed more, I feel like deli style, or had an easier going way of packaging, something that didn't
Or
suck
a
out.
quicker testing.
Yep, more testing
Because
facilities.
sometimes I've heard testing can take a couple months.
Yeah, it can take forever depending on how backed up they are. So it's, it's crazy. So I just wanted to say that too, because sometimes I talk some smack, but I also understand. Mm-hmm. You can have great cannabis, but after it's been in a Mylar bag for 3 months, you
Yeah,
can't.
that's why I don't really like to talk shit on people's weed.
Yeah. But
And I firsthand know how difficult it can get to be growing weed.
oh god, yes.
And then you have to take that and multiply it by X amount to run a dispensary.
Yep.
And so most home growers are like, oh, just throw me in there. I can do this. Like, it's a lot different than you think.
Takes some logistics.
Yeah.
And the capital. Mainly getting the capital behind you is a make or break when
Yeah.
it comes to this business. So it's nuts.
So is there anything else that you wanted to touch on? Anything else you wanted to plug?
Let me see here. Let's see. We hit on let me talk a little bit about a couple of different prisoners.
Yep, go ahead.
Okay, we've got Edwin Rubis. He is spending de facto life in prison right now. We are requesting from...
Okay, so when you say de facto life in prison, what do you mean?
That means... Okay, I'm going to have to look that up because I don't want to quote that wrong.
Well,
I understand
Jess
it.
will look it up real
Okay,
quick while
thank
you just continue.
So I would say my best explanation to that means that, let's say right now you get a 70-year sentence. Are you getting out before you die?
Right.
Most likely not. So de facto life. Even though it's not a life sentence, it's too long for you to have quality of life if you're still alive by
So
then.
de facto life sentences, also known as virtual life sentences, refer to non-life sentences that are so long that the sentenced person will likely die or live out a significant majority of their natural lives before they are released.
Yep, I nailed it.
Okay, so
Edwin Rubis was charged with cannabis. He had been a user of drugs at one point in time in his life and had gotten caught up in selling drugs, right? And got sentenced to, I can't remember if it was 40 years, but de facto life. And over the years, of course, I'm trying to say this correctly because it's just a lot to take in. They never found any drugs on him. They never found any marijuana. They found nothing on him or in his home when they raided his home.
it was all hearsay.
It was conspiracy. So he got conspiracy charges. So he was part of it, even though they didn't find any physical evidence of drugs on his person or in his home. So, yep.
Shouldn't even be sitting in jail.
Nope. And so we're requesting that President Biden release him before he is taken out of the White House this year.
Right. On his
On his way out.
on his way out pardons.
Yep, because, he made promises to let more people out. Again, like I said, there's nobody in federal prison for minor cannabis charges. They are all major felonies. They are
Right.
not misdemeanors. That's not how that works.
Right.
So, anyway, have him released. And then another gentleman I wanted to talk about, his name is Mark Fogel. You guys remember the Brittany Griner situation, how she got caught with vapes in Russia?
Yes.
And then we traded prisoners to get her back to the
I've heard
United
this guy's
States?
name.
Yes.
Isn't he
Mark Fogel is his name.
Isn't he across seas
He's
locked
in Russia right now. Yep.
And yeah, okay, so I remember hearing this guy's name because somebody was like, "Oh yeah, they get her off because she plays women's basketball and is a star athlete," but this guy's literally been sitting over there longer than her. And what's up?
17 grams of medical marijuana, and he's sentenced to 14 years in a Russian prison. He's a father, he's a teacher, he's a medical patient. He should not be locked up there, and we believe that he should be traded in the same fashion or at least brought home like Brittany Griner. I don't care that, I understand he was in a foreign country and people will argue that you should follow the laws where you're at.
Yo, dude.
But those
for the
laws
person
shouldn't
they
exist.
traded for her, we
and
should have got both of them back.
Exactly. Like, I'm glad that she made it home, but we should bring more home.
Yeah, we should have at least got 2 for that guy, because
Yep.
that guy was fucking savage, dude.
Yep.
We got a basketball player back. They got a fucking illegal arms dealer back.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that we need
It
to...
was either an arms dealer or a hitman, one of the two.
Yeah, I can't remember that
Yeah,
one.
neither can I, but
I'm just like, she's
all I know
home.
is he was cutthroat.
Exactly.
And there was a reason they wanted him.
Exactly. And then one more special thanks. The gentleman that donated the space for the car, his name is Chris Holdoff. He's a former incarcerated cannabis prisoner himself. And like I said, all the proceeds went to the commissary and WISH programs. And so I just wanted to give a special thanks for him for donating that space, because that's giving up a lot of money out of his pocket and out of his sponsors' pockets.
Especially a hood space.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Because that's a big chunk of money right there. Because that's a big chunk of car.
Yeah, and it was one of the very first fully advertised cannabis-sponsored race cars. So it's kind of the beginning of something cool.
Right.
when it comes to that. So I want to say thank you to that. Thank you to Randy, Kristen, Stephanie, all the people who make Freedom Grow work. There's a list prior to the program and still in the program.
Right, right.
And yeah, if you can donate, we also take volunteers. So if you can't donate money, you can donate time. I feel like that kind of hits everything. Thanks to the people that I know have spent a lot of time in prison that are out now. We've got George Martirano, Lance Glore, Luke Scarmazzo, Jeff Mazinski, Craig Cecil, and there's still so many more still locked up. And we just want to bring them home. Yeah.
The sooner we can get everybody out of prison for cannabis, the better.
Exactly. I'm trying to see if there's anybody.
Because like she said multiple times during this show, nobody should be locked up for a plant.
Hell no, man. And we've all known somebody who has been touched by cannabis prohibition in one fashion or another. We wouldn't be in this industry doing what we're doing now if we hadn't been. Whether it's a cancer patient, somebody in jail, a brother, a sister, a soldier. It doesn't matter, you know.
Okay, so
Yep.
one last question before we wrap it up.
Okay.
Say we wake up tomorrow, cannabis is descheduled, and everybody that's in prison for non-violent cannabis crimes is released. Would you start advocating for other natural plants like mushrooms and stuff like that?
Well, yeah, I personally think that adult use, that how do I say that drug use shouldn't necessarily be criminalized.
I agree. I think as an adult you can make the right choice, and if you make the wrong choice and it costs you your life, well, I'm sorry to your family, but that was your choice.
Well, and also people who hide drug problems tend to be the ones that die and don't get help, and they don't feel comfortable asking for that help that they need. And so if we were able to take some of that stigma away and allow people to not feel like they have to hide,
Right.
it would be, and then there's also, what did they call that? Prevention.
Carrie says, love you, Danny.
Love you. I wish you were here. She's got COVID. So
Oh,
I
Lordy.
don't get to see her. Yeah, that's why I drove down today instead of last night. So, but yeah, I would definitely, you know, depending, let's see what it's all about.
Right.
Just because, I mean, I'm always willing to open my mind to that.
Right,
'Cause,
right.
like, why not? They shouldn't be. It's just dumb that we're spending all that money.
I think
on people.
anything grown from the earth just
Yeah.
needs to be legal, but at the same time, you trying to tell an adult what to do is just dumb.
Yeah.
Like, I'm in charge of my body. If I make the wrong choice, it's my life. I'm sorry. If I die, I die.
Yep. And if you have, you know, I cannot think of what that word is right now, but essentially, you know, you help people that are in active addiction
Right.
instead of condemning them.
Right.
And yeah.
And like people always say, well, if you make every drug legal, then you're just gonna have a bunch of drug problems. Like,
Don't
I
we already
don't-
have a bunch of drug
I think
problems,
see
guys?
that's why we have a drug problem, is because they're all illegal.
Yeah.
And everybody's curious, so they're like, oh, I'm gonna try this, and they just get the wrong shit, and now they're hooked on something.
Yep.
I'm 29 years old. I've seen a ball of meth that was the size of a softball
Jesus Christ.
sitting behind my TV. Didn't touch it. Didn't want to do it.
You're like, no, thank you.
Yeah,
Not my thing.
I wasn't even an adult technically. I was under the age of 18 when I seen that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yep.
as a teenager, I was able to make the right choice.
Yes. Yes.
Granted, not all adults are
no.
like me, but
Well, and sometimes trauma plays into a lot of that drug use and
but
everything.
along with that, I've also seen a mound of meth this big,
Mm-hmm.
and I still never wanted to touch it.
I like marijuana. That's
Yeah.
my whole gig.
I just like natural things.
Yeah, like
I've
I've been curious and been like, oh, what
I've
is
tried
that?
acid
But like
and
I
I've tried
don't.
mushrooms.
but I don't wanna.
I don't like acid, but
Yeah.
I love mushrooms. Acid's not natural; it's man-made. Mushrooms grow from the ground.
Well, and acid does come from ergot, which is a rye fungus.
Yes.
Which mushrooms. I don't know if that matters because it's a fungus. Ha.
Ergot.
Yeah.
That's what they believe the Greeks were.
Yeah,
were-
tripping on.
They were just frying balls the
Oh
entire
man,
time.
entire villages would have complete breakdowns because their bread supply got
Ergot.
Yep, got all of their flour from the mill would get contaminated with other people's dirty flour, and then everybody be
Yeah.
just tripping balls on ergot. You can Google that; it's kind of weird.
There was a massive ergot outbreak, and that I can't remember what it caused, but it was bad.
It doesn't
It was
even
bad.
sound real, but yes, harm reduction. There we go. Thank you, Carrie. Love you.
Yes.
That's what I was looking for.
Both
Give
those
people
are awesome.
education.
And the war,
Test the
and
drugs.
the drug war and harm reduction works.
It really does. I have personally had friends give me Narcan, and I have given it to like family members and have saved their friends' lives. I'm not in it, but I know that you guys do dumb shit. Take this just in case, and it has saved people's lives.
Right. I know
Kids
quite
make
a
dumb
few
decisions,
people
man.
that do those types of drugs.
When I say
and,
kids, I mean 20-somethings.
And I'm always like, hey, if you guys ever just need a sober place to sleep, you just hit me up. Like,
Yeah,
I gotcha.
honestly. If it wouldn't have been for some safe spaces when I was a kid, man, I could have been in a lot more trouble. Mm-hmm. So, I lucked out. Cannabis has been the only thing that's really touched my life.
right.
Thank
Everybody's
God.
always like, why do you just smoke weed and work all the time? Have you ever seen me go to jail?
Yeah, right? Oh, God, I have stuff to give away, by the way. I don't know how to do that. You can give it away next time. BT dubs.
Tell you what, we'll give it away in the morning.
Okay, cool.
Everybody wants to tune in the morning, and we'll give this away during that show so we can get it
Yeah.
get better.
Yeah, show it off.
I don't know if you can see it. Oh, wait.
Shit.
Yeah, here you go.
Closer, it's clear.
Yeah. Oh, there you
Here it
go.
goes.
Aha. And then some bracelets and pens. Which,
Ooh, that
ooh,
purple one
there we
really
go.
comes in nice.
Yeah, it does. So, and then there's Randy's cards, and that way you guys just know who to contact. And
They just
Everything.
dip that in paint and tossed it on there, huh?
I did that. Yeah, I take. There's like a certain mixture of like different paints and the viscosity of it and stuff to get a good print.
Huh.
But yeah, those are my pot leaves for my home grow, and then yeah, I print them on.
I should do that with a couple of my pot leaves.
I'm telling you, once you get it down, it's pretty cool. I actually tie-dyed a hoodie doing it with bleach.
Oh shit! You'll have to come in out. That
Yeah.
When you messaged me, that's why I didn't respond right away because I was in the grow room transplanting a couple of plants.
Nice. I hear that. Oh, I got to see some cool grows when I was in Florida. That stuff was crazy.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah,
I bet with the
so
climate
huge.
down there.
Yeah, well, and they do a lot of outgrow. Like, it's been a long time since I've seen some really fine outdoor. And I will tell you what I
When you go to those
smoked down
tropical
there,
places, those
it was
outdoors are the
fantastic.
best. They
It's been
just
a
get
long
so
time.
big.
Yeah, well, and it smelled good, and it was still sticky, and it didn't have that hay, dry bag smell to it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like, it's been a long time since I've seen that quality. I'm afraid when they legalize it, some of the quality might go away, but maybe not. We'll see.
I think it will, but you'll still be able to find those mom and pops
Yeah.
that have craft cannabis.
Yeah, yeah. I think craft cannabis is going to make its way
Yeah.
back. It just is going to take time for that pendulum swing.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
mean, you'll always have the Walmarts of weed.
Yeah.
But then you'll also have
I mean, Boone's Farm, man. You've got Boone's Farm, and
what's a good.
and then you got like vintage wine. You know, I don't know
Then you always have the IGAs.
exactly.
Ah,
There you go. Walmart's and IGAs.
something similar,
Yep.
but that was low or small.
Ah, yes. Dude, Adam
had
and I
my
have known
rounds
each
of
other.
Bad drugs and plenty of trouble, but I am weed only and never been better.
Yeah, so Adam and I have literally known each other since I was about 15 years old, and I'm 38 now. He was one of my really good friends in high school, and I see him at all the hemp fests and
Right.
stuff too, and we all live in Helena. Anyway, I love that man. He's pretty awesome. His wife is pretty cool too, so yay. So...
But all right.
All
On
right,
that note,
cool.
we really appreciate you coming on
I
and talking
appreciate you
about
having me.
the organization.
Do it anytime. I can...
I love having organizations like this on. It gets us out there more, and it gets you guys out there more. Mm-hmm. Yep.
And remember, 501c3 means that if you have a non-cannabis company and you donate, that's a tax write-off. So, yep.
And then you're also able to go online and see where everything's going.
Yes, come volunteer.
All right. Thank
All
you,
right.
guys.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you go check out Freedom Grow's website at freedomgrow.com and join us tomorrow morning as we give away this stuff from Danny and talk about some cannabis news. We'll see you at 7. Have a good night. I almost said have a good morning.
Lost in the haze, just you and me. Smoke in the air, we're in our zone. Living in the moment, never alone. Passing it round in a circle we go. Sharing stories, letting our minds flow. Time slows down in this tranquil state. Every puff bringing a new escape. We're riding on clouds, feeling so free. Lost in the haze, just you and me. Smoke in the air, we're in our zone. Living in the moment, never alone. We're riding underneath the stars, we find our peace. In this euphoria, worries cease. Colors brighter, laughter sincere. In this moment, all doubts disappear. We're riding on clouds, feeling so free. Lost in the haze, just you and me. Smoke in the air, we're in our zone. Living in the moment, never alone. We're riding beneath the stars, we find our peace. In this euphoria, worries cease. Colors brighter, laughter sincere. In this moment, all doubts disappear. We're riding on clouds, feeling so free. Lost in the haze, just you and me. Smoke in the air,